right. So you want to get a grip on some of the like core business concepts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I got to say, the sources you picked for this deep dive are like really solid.
Yeah.
They break down these like sometimes super complicated ideas in a way that anyone can understand.
Totally.
Even if you don't have an MBA or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, these foundational concepts can really help make sense of like the entire business world.
Yeah.
Even if you're just kind of observing it,
for sure.
from the sidelines.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
The first concept we have is market conditions.
Okay.
And the source defines it as features of a market into which a new product is introduced.
Right.
And they give the example of like Uber.
Yeah, Uber's a great example. I mean, they didn't just like stumble onto success, right?
Right.
They saw those streets completely packed with traffic, everyone frustrated with taxis.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's a huge opportunity here.
And I remember like when Uber first launched in my city, it was like
Oh, yeah.
a game changer.
For sure.
But, the source also mentioned like regulatory trends.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that earlier too. Was that like a factor in Uber's success?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Uber's success wasn't just about like convenience, right? They were also really savvy about navigating the, regulatory landscape at the time. And like the taxi industry was like ripe for disruption. And they totally took advantage of that.
Totally.
They exploited loopholes in those existing taxi regulations.
Yeah.
And it gave them a big advantage early on.
Yeah.
But, that's a whole other deep dive we could do on that.
Totally.
On that.
Yeah. So it sounds like analyzing market conditions isn't just about like spotting a need. It's about understanding.
It's about the whole picture.
Yeah.
You got to look at the competition, economic factors, regulations, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing process too, right? Like markets are constantly evolving.
Yeah. Companies need to be able to like adapt.
Totally. Okay, so speaking of spotting a need, that takes us to the next concept, which is market need.
No.
And the source defines this as goods or services required by customers, but not readily available.
Right. So basically it's about finding a problem and solving it.
Yeah.
Or, filling some gap that exists in the market.
Right.
That's like the sweet spot for any business that wants to be successful.
Totally. And, Beyond Meat is a perfect example of that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, they saw this growing interest in plant-based food.
Yeah.
But they also realized that, a lot of what was out there just like wasn't really cutting it in terms of like
totally
taste and texture.
I mean, they didn't just like throw a veggie patty on a bun and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
They really invested in research and development to make something that was like really comparable to eating meat.
Yeah.
And they were smart about their branding too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Positioning themselves as this like premium
innovative option.
Totally. And, Beyond Meat, like really raised the bar for the entire plant-based food industry.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about those unmet needs that you might have in your own life, right?
Absolutely.
What are those things that you wish existed, but just like...
Totally. And it's not always about a problem that needs solving, right? Sometimes it's about like anticipating a shift in what consumers want. Like think about the rise of smartphones.
Yeah.
That created like a whole universe of new market needs
Right.
from apps to accessories.
Okay, so last or not least, we have market research.
Okay.
Which the source defines as systematically collecting, recording, and analyzing market information.
Right.
Which sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot more to it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, market research is all about gathering information to help you make like informed decisions.
Yeah.
But it can take so many different forms, right? It could be like traditional surveys.
Focus groups.
Yeah.
Or it could be like analyzing data from your website, social media, all sorts of stuff.
The source mentions Nike as like a really good example of this.
Oh, yeah.
They are constantly using market research to stay ahead of the game.
Totally.
In the world of like sportswear.
Right. I mean, they're known for being incredibly data-driven. Like they're tracking fashion trends.
Yeah.
Analyzing customer feedback on social media.
Yeah.
All of this information helps them to refine their products.
Yeah.
Make sure their marketing is on point.
Totally.
And stay relevant in what is a very competitive market.
And you know what's really cool? I was reading an article the other day about how like even small businesses are starting to use these online tools to do their own market research.
Yeah, it's amazing how accessible this kind of information is becoming.
Totally. So, okay, we've covered market conditions, market needs, and market research.
Right.
What's like the key takeaway here?
How can we apply these concepts to our own lives?
I think the biggest takeaway is that it's all about being like aware and observant, whether you're starting a business, choosing a career path, or even just deciding what to buy.
Yeah.
Like understanding those market forces can really help you make smarter decisions.
So it's about thinking critically and strategically.
Absolutely.
So to our listener out there, you know, are you considering these market forces in your own life?
Good question.
What are you noticing out there? Because it's a fascinating world out there.
It is.
It's full of opportunities and challenges.
For sure.
And understanding these concepts can give you a real edge.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
All right.
See ya.